Yeah, we're gonna get a little bit of a late start, but that's alright.
That's cool. You start streaming, I'm going to piss real quick.
Oh, okay.
And we'll be ready to go. Be ready to rock and roll. Alrighty then.
Probably get started like 7:35.
Well, it works. Sending it out to the groups.
Yep, that's what I'm doing. I just wish I had a button that would do it all.
Yeah, as soon as you started streaming everything, would just, hey, here we go, we're live. See if there's anybody yet. Oh, hell yeah, here it is.
Mr. Jefferson, I wish I could be around you all the time. You're awesome.
I think you're awesome too, Cartman.
Right?
Yeah.
Copyright. Gotta say, copyright.
I love that part. Oh, look at Ozzy shooting a gun. Oh, the Stenhouse Demolition Derby is what he's calling this episode on. Oh, the Stenhouse Demolition Derby is what he's calling this episode on.
Alright, maybe I was off by a couple minutes. Why is it not very working? Alright, Facebook Messenger, and then we're done.
Okay.
Then we's ready to go.
Kentucky.
Oh,
and we got all three.
Do you have the stream up on your phone?
Yeah, I do.
Check out our new post-stream picture. I've just placed it up so you can see it. And it might take a second to load.
It's still Daytona.
Wait for it.
There it is. Nice. The big American flag. Nice. I like that. Yeah, those are some kick-ass seats you guys had, too.
Oh, man, we're going to go over it, but it was everything it should have been.
Now, could you tell you were up that high?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you look at the track, I mean, you're above the cars and all that, naturally.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not like you're looking straight down and getting sick.
Yeah, exactly. Like when we went to Charlotte, we were in the
everything's fluent
upper deck.
I guess would be the best way to say.
Yeah. Yeah, when we went to Charlotte, we were I'll have to look through. I think my dad has some of the pictures. But we were up there pretty high, and, my dad's afraid of heights, and he's like, I don't know if I can do this. But once the action started on track, he was all right. I forgot who I picked for the Xfinity Series last weekend. I know you got the picks on your sheet. I need to start doing that. Speaking of which, I got a pen in front of me. All I need is a paper, and I'll be all right.
Alright. And let me pull up the pop-out chat. And
yeah, like I said, I forgot who I picked last week. No, it wasn't that. I'm trying to remember who I picked. No, it was Ryan Reed. That's right. All right, I remember. I picked one back to Ryan Reed. Yeah, I'm ready. You ready?
Yeah, my paper's got all messed up. But I think we're ready. Let me
What's that for?
TV volume's down.
Oh, okay. Sarah's ready.
Alright, let's go.
Alright, let's do it.
If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Loose Lugs podcast, episode number 33. I'm your host, AJ. With me, as always, is my co-host, Ryan. Ryan, we are back from a wreck-filled Daytona.
Yeah, no kidding, man. What a weekend. What a race. Man, AJ, I know you was down in Daytona. Let's hear about it.
Now, I'll start this story with the fact that this will be the last July Daytona race I'll ever go to.
Unless I come down there for it.
We're just saying that. I probably will go to one again, but not anytime soon, because I will tell you, this was the hottest race I've ever been to. And I should know by now in July, it's hot here.
I bet.
But it doesn't take away from the fact of it was a great time as always. I love going to the races, even bearing the heat and all that. Met Corey LaJoy when we were there before the race, which was ironic how it happened because we were in the garage area. And with the garage area at Daytona, you have a glass window and a little slot underneath that you can pass autographs through and stuff like that. Well, we walked up through all the garages and we saw Corey LaJoy standing there signing the hero cards. And he handed one out the window to me, so I tried to turn around and get a picture. But I couldn't get anything because of the glare on the screen. Or on the window. So he taps on the glass and motions for me to put my phone through the slot underneath, and he took it.
Yeah, I'm like, how the hell did he get that? I'm like, because I know exactly where you were, because during one of the practices, they showed Turek signing autographs and underneath the window and everything like that. And I'm like, man, it must be good see-through glass. I don't think it's see-through glass. I knew it was tinted. But yeah, that picture turned out really good. Kind of like how I met DiBenedetto, but he was out in the open at MIS.
Yeah, well, we were gonna go do the Chase Elliott meet and greet, which we probably could have because we still could have got on the track if we wanted to. We only spent like an hour in the infield and all that.
Nice.
It was just, I mean, it was hot, dude. On the asphalt,
I bet.
It was blazing heat. But then going to the race, getting into the race, it was just action-packed. It was fun. We're going to dive into it, so I don't want to give too much away.
Yep.
But I'll tell you, sitting as high up as we did was amazing.
Yeah, I bet you can probably see all the way around the track, see all the pit stops, everything like that. So definitely looked like by some of the photos and video you posted on the Facebook page and YouTube that you saw everything pretty damn good there, AJ.
For those that haven't seen it yet, I actually did post a video to our YouTube page of the final restart and overtime, so you can get a true idea of what I'm talking about with. You could see everything. I mean, we were 10 rows away from the very back upper level of Daytona.
Nice.
If you look to your left off a turn, or in between turns 3 and 4, you could see the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a great view of everything.
Oh, I bet.
And
yeah.
Just last thing I wanted to say, if you notice the 500, they had the Thunderbirds fly over. 6 Thunderbirds usually fly over. Yeah, they had 2 F-22 Hornets, and they were way louder than those 6 Thunderbirds.
I bet there goes your eardrums. Holy cow!
Oh yeah.
I remember one year at MIS they did the flyover. I think it was F-22s. They come from turns between 3 and 4, and they go to 1 and 2. But they did a turnaround and went back over the main grandstand. Scared the crap out of me. I'm drinking a beer, and all of a sudden, I'm like, holy all right, more planes.
So the Thunderbirds do that too in the 500.
Do they? All right.
You'll see them as they're coming over you because they come from the back stretch to the front stretch instead of straight across the track. So they fly over the grandstand, and when they get to the grandstand portion, or basically the start-finish line, they all split off and make that beautiful pattern that you see on TV with all the, the smoke stream and all that. Well, what you don't see is when the TV's on commercial and the pace car's just leaving pit road, and all of a sudden, out of every which direction, you have 6 of them flying straight across, afterburners and all that, like...
Nice.
It'll get you every time.
Oh, I bet. But yeah, I seen you had a great weekend down in Daytona. Yeah, we had our buddy Sean over for Daytona Saturday night. He came over, ordered some pizza, had some fun, drank a couple beers watching the race, just enjoyed it. It was good times. And then Sunday went over to Mom's house, just getting ready for Friday. Friday is the, what do they like to say? Try to put a ring on it? Yeah, wedding day on Friday.
Should have put a ring on.
Oh, no, now AJ singing Beyonce. Uh-oh. Oh, Sarah's laughing if you can hear her in the background. She's laughing at you, AJ. But no, Friday we're doing the wedding on our back deck. We got a nice deck, nice yard to have a couple people over for it. And then Saturday we're having the reception at a park, so... That'll be this weekend, so I will be watching Kentucky on delay.
Yeah, I gotta have to not spoil it for you, I guess, would be the best way to put it.
Put it this way, if a driver I don't like wins, you can tell me.
What's that?
And then, but if a driver wins that I don't like, you can tell me.
What if it's a driver you don't like?
Yeah, that's what I said. If I don't like, you can tell me.
You do like.
Don't tell me. I want to be surprised.
Well, then, how are you going to be surprised if I don't tell you? If I don't tell you nothing, then you're going to be like, oh, well, so one of my drivers won.
Oh, that'd be great to know that one of my drivers won, but well, we'll play it by ear, I guess.
I'm just going to mess with you. I'm going to tell you the wrong winner.
Oh, yeah. You didn't tell me that Chase Elliott finally wins. What, you going to tell me Chase Elliott won?
That ain't funny.
So, I know, I'm giving you a hard time, dude. Come on now.
This is twice now this year where I've had to put my head in my lap as soon as a wreck started because I knew how it was going to end. I didn't even need to see it.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna dive into that. Got a couple things to get off my chest on that. The whole weekend, I should say.
For those that read the description, you have seen that this is a rant-laced episode. I mean, it started with the Xfinity series, and then it got worse.
Snowballed.
Yeah. Just when you thought it would get better, it got worse.
Oh yeah.
So Ryan,
yeah.
This is a jam-packed episode. We got a lot to go over in just 2 races that were this weekend. What do you say we dive on into this and get our first of many rants out of the way?
Yep, the Gas and Go rant edition. Here we go.
Here we go, gas and go. All right, so Gas and Go, for those that don't know, this is where we recap the race weekend, and we start off from lowest division to, well, chronological order, I guess you could say, from Truck Series usually before Xfinity and Cup and so on and so forth. We only had Xfinity and Cup Series in action this weekend at Daytona, so the Xfinity Series, Kyle Larson wins in controversial finish.
You could say controversy. It was controversy. Justin Haley won that race. He made a hell of a pass. I don't care about this stupid yellow line. Enough with the yellow line. Get rid of it. Please, for the love of God. See this shirt? See this shirt I'm wearing, folks? NASCAR, pull your heads out of your rear end. Get rid of the yellow line. Have it at Bristol, Martinsville, all these mile and a halves. Don't use it there, the out of bounds there. Don't use it at Bristol, at Daytona, at Talladega. Sorry, the dog is right by one of the cat's toys right now and is so scared of this cat toy that I was laughing at. I got distracted by it. But please get rid of the yellow line.
You know, I differ from you on that. I think the yellow line's a great rule. Now, my thing is, in this whole situation, Justin Haley makes an incredible move through the tri-oval on the final lap to get around both Kyle Larson and Elliott Sadler. And in my opinion, when I watch it, it looks like Haley's in front of Sadler and Larson before he even goes below the yellow line, which therefore he didn't advance his position at that point.
No, Kozlowski even stated that on one of his tweets about that. That if you watch the replay on the side angle, his nose was ahead of the car before he went below the yellow line. And it's just... I'm
going to throw you back a little bit.
Thank you, Patrick.
Don't you remember our former favorite driver, Dale Jr., 2003 Talladega, wrecked race car and all, goes below the yellow line with either on the last lap or 2 to go to take the lead.
Yep.
And on the broadcast, it was, Junior went below the yellow line. NASCAR's reviewing it. Nothing came of it, but he went more below the line than Haley did.
Haley, yep. I can't say if it's a judgment call. I think it's a popularity contest. If Elliott Sadler does that, do they do a different outcome? If it's Christopher Bell, if it's anybody else, are they taking this one away?
No, and that's another thing I kept going back to is, look at a guy like Elliott Sadler. Elliott Sadler was below the yellow line, I believe it was last year at Talladega, or 2 years ago at Talladega, when who was it that wrecked? Was it Brennan Poole? Wasn't it Brennan Poole that wrecked or something like that?
Yeah.
And Elliott was in the lead?
Yeah.
Well, he was below the yellow line, not even avoiding a wreck, and he got the win.
Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh.
So, it's a ticky-tack call.
Yes, it is. It like I said, it's a popularity contest. Is what it is. I think if it was any other driver out there, they don't take the win away because it was a hell of a move. NASCAR's like, oh great, we have a situation on our hands. A, because it was a great move, and B, they got to do something with it. If more than half of your car is below that yellow line, then yes. The yellow, he was like not even halfway across it though. That's the thing that just like grinds my gears, blows my head gasket. stuff like that right now.
This is where I want to kind of piggyback to what you were saying the first time. You want to eliminate the rule.
Oh yeah, in general.
I think if you have both sides of the car, all four wheels below the yellow line, then it's a penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, how many times do we see in the corners drivers sit right on the yellow line, their tires on the yellow line, and make passes and runs, and those don't get called? I just, it frustrates me, man.
Like I said, if more than half the car is below the yellow line, then call it. If you're right at half, which is where Justin Haley was, let it go, because that was a hell of a pass. And what we're not taking into considering, look at Elliott Sadler, how close he lost this race. February and now July.
The worst part is this finish is going to get overlooked.
Yeah.
The move that Haley made is going to get overlooked.
Yep.
And that's the damn shame of it all.
Yeah, it was a great race. It really was. It was a very entertaining race, start to finish. You know, the ending, the controversy there, you knew it was going to happen, but
50-50.
See what happens. Thank you, Tony. Oh boy, Tony being Tony.
Without that finish, though, this race I thought was pretty good.
I thought it was very entertaining. I thought both races were entertaining.
I mean, stages 1 and 2 were fairly tame. Now, this weekend we saw a lot less of the follow the leader single file racing this weekend than we've normally seen in past races at Daytona this year and last year. But man, in that final stage, or not the final stage, but the final segment of the race, all hell broke loose.
Oh yeah,
it got chaos.
Well, they got really racy towards the end of stage 2. I think they said that there was possible weather in around the track vicinity. I guess they saw lightning in the distance, but not too far from where they had to, pull their cars out, get everybody out of the grandstands because of it. Then they got really racy. Then stage 3 is when the big one happened.
Yeah, and that big one, Austin Cindric, man. I've never seen a car flip over like that. If you haven't seen it, Cindric gets clipped at the end of the wreck, and it just slowly does a barrel roll down in turns 1 and 2.
I forgot what car he runs into, but when he hit the wheel of this car, because he had no front end, and then that's when he started to barrel roll, and I'm like I was telling Sarah, I'm like, I've never seen that before. And I was messaging you. I've never seen that before, where a car hits another car like that. Where the Cindric hit this other car. Forgive me, I forgot who it was. I think maybe it was Christopher. No, Belfint got a top 10, I thought. But like I said, I've never seen that before, and it was strange, is what it was.
It was awkward, very awkward of a roll. I mean, glad Cindric's okay. Glad everyone involved in that one was okay.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, hardest hit of Friday night went to Josh Williams in that 90
car.
Oh,
man.
That last caution of the race where he gets clipped and head on into the wall, that's a hard hit. For a guy who was running in the top 10 on a low-budget team, it was great to see. And he, after the race, took note on Twitter that Dale Jr. didn't even acknowledge the fact that he was spinning or even involved in the wreck, and he had the hardest hit. And so I had retweeted it and said, Josh, great run. It sucks getting caught up in someone else's mess because you were running so well. You just wish sometimes announcers would take note. And 2 hours after I post that tweet, Junior responds with, sorry, wasn't thinking about names in that situation. Just wanted to make sure everyone was okay. You're a great driver, and all that. Man, Junior's taking note. Junior is the best thing NBC could have done on a broadcast team.
I thought so too, and I was telling Sarah too, and I'm like, because Friday night actually both nights, Letarte was calling the race from the pit box. You're telling me he doesn't miss being up on that box? He's making calls?
He's yes, very he is. There. And with Mike Tirico, a guy who doesn't even follow NASCAR, really?
Tarico, you know what? I tell you what. I don't know if you recorded the race or if you watched any of it.
I did. I'm actually watching it right now without audio. Like, it's on in the background.
All right. By the way, Mike Tirico is very, very knowledgeable when it comes to NASCAR. I know there's probably somebody in his ear ask him this question, that. But he was taking notes. He was just in awe to be at Daytona. He was like, I've been to, Lambeau, all this and all that. And now to be here, he was just in awe of how big the Daytona is.
Just a side note on Tirico, what a loss by ESPN.
Yeah, oh yeah.
From Sunday Night Football to now NASCAR. I mean, what a loss.
Yep. I'm ready for him to be in the booth in Sunday Night Football. He does Notre Dame football, which week 1. Wolverines go to South Bend. So
one of the few times I'll ever say "Go Blue."
That's right. Smart man, AJ.
Well, I know we're getting away from it, but man, I hate Notre Dame. No team that plays in the independent conference should ever compete for a national title.
That's right.
Play a title game.
Nope. But yeah, yeah, exactly. I was talking to Sarah about the Cindric wreck, like when he was rolling. I'm like, oh, he'll be out of the car. He'll be all right. It's those head-on hits that Williams took that. I'm like, those are the ones that scare the bejesus out of me.
Those are the ones where you see the steering wheel after the race. And it's all bent and mangled. Like
one of those World Tough Guys.
Yeah.
Like how they rip phone books and throw these giant-ass boulders over walls and shit.
With some of the hard impacts we had this weekend, I'm honestly surprised that nobody had got hurt. Because there were a lot of head-on hits right in the wall. Thank God for safer barriers, HON devices, and everything else we have safety-wise now.
Exactly.
So, Ryan, we had problems for a front runner on the final restart. Chase Elliott lost a belt in the front. Was it the radiator or something like that? Where he lost a belt on the fan?
Yeah.
He lost some sort of
something
oil
like
pressure.
that.
It was in the oil cooler. Everyone kept saying a belt fell off the front.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened there. So with the Chase, I think it was like you said, a belt.
I mean, that kind of... I thought he was going to really make a run there for it at the end.
I thought so, too. He had one of the better cars there.
If that doesn't happen, I think Justin Haley isn't even a factor.
Exactly.
But, hey, a Cup guy won the race, unfortunately, but it looked like either way you went about it, a Cup guy was going to win.
Yeah, I thought Sadler was good and pull it out at the end. I was cheering for him, though, and then I saw Haley make that move, and I'm like, go, Haley, go! I got out of my seat on that one.
How about, Ryan, in a 10-year-old race car, one that has traveled from Evernham to Stewart Haas Racing that was a show car and a backup car for them, Kaz Gralla finishing 5th in a car that's 10 years old, almost older than he is.
Yeah, he had himself a hell of a run at the end. There's a lot of guys in this Xfinity race and on Saturday, I almost said Sunday, that had great runs, good for their team, good for the sponsors, these underfunded teams. This is why I love Daytona, Talladega, Bristol, the road courses. These guys you don't hear much of coming up through, getting these great finishes for their underfunded teams. And Kaz Gralla right up at the top of that list.
I've been saying it for weeks now that Kaz Gralla is the story of the Xfinity Series. He's not going to be at Kentucky this weekend. Unfortunately, couldn't get sponsorship. But, man, he's going to a home track in New Hampshire in 2 weeks. And
he's going to be motivated.
How awesome would it be to see him win at his home track with a Fury race cars?
That'd be great.
Car, I should say. It's kind of hurts on the words right there because their name is Fury Race Cars and you're like Fury Race Cars race car.
Try to say that sometimes fast.
You sound like Jimmy 2 times.
That's right.
Fellas. I'm gonna go get the paper.
There was a kid I was watching on on Friday night. Shane Lee, he was driving the 3 car for Childress. Man, that kid's something. I've seen him in the ARCA cars before, but for him to go to Daytona and do what he did, he got a top 6 finish.
He was
that was something else. Yes, he was.
Ryan,
I tell you what, man. Go ahead.
No. Finish what you were saying. It relates with what you were saying.
Like I said, though, Daytona, Talladega, this is where you make a name for yourselves. Like, hey, all right, put me in a car. This is what I can do.
And another thing is Daytona's such a crapshoot that anybody can
exactly.
win. I mean, you could start dead last and win that race. Daytona and Talladega both.
Like, no offense to Kentucky Speedway. I mean, I kind of get a figure who's going to win this weekend. So I know who I'm going with. So
have I mentioned how much I dislike Stenhouse this week? It just happened. By the way, it just happened up on
the big one. Oh yeah.
Your stage winner's Ryan in this one. Kyle Larson, and your race winner, Kyle.
Wait, let me guess. Justin Haley.
No. Unfortunately, NASCAR decided he wasn't going to win that one. They were like, no, not so fast.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he was doing the middle of the burnout and everything like that, and NBC cuts to the camera of him. He's at the start-finish line. All of a sudden, his burnout stopped, and you see Kyle Larson sliding through the grass, and I'm like,
Ryan,
Yo.
What do you do in that situation as a driver when you're doing your burnout and you get told over the radio that, hey, you went below the O-line, it's not your win? I think he had the best response to it and just sitting on the track, like, really?
Yeah, like, really? I'm out here celebrating my second career win in NASCAR. I just won a few weekends ago in the Truck Series, and you're taking this away from me right now? His interview, I give him props, and he was on Twitter after the race, and during the live interview, yeah, he was definitely upset, but at the, Twitter, he was very open, thanked the team for, give him a chance to ride. It was only a part-time deal anyway. Here in, I think, Martinsville, I think is what it was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or Talladega. No, Xfinity, don't go back to Talladega. Something like Martinsville or Phoenix.
Ryan, did you get the sense in Larson's interview that he kind of was like, yeah, I won, even though I didn't cross the finish line first?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think Larson was like NASCAR's really taking this win away from this kid.
Like, I think it just felt like Larson felt out of place right there.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I wait a minute, I won? I didn't cross the line first. But then Elliott Sadler again, Daytona back. Oh man!
Like you mentioned, Sadler. This is another heartbreak this season at Daytona for him. He lost by 4/1000th of a second. Was it
closest finish? One of the closest finishes in history, and now this on Friday night.
Yeah, and that was in February. And now you had Friday night, which I think was a margin of 0.1 maybe.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Or 0.01.
Unreal.
Yeah, it was crazy. Your top 5, Kyle Larson, Elliott Sadler, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Kaz Grala. Out of your notable finishers, you said Shane Lee, who finished 6th. 7th place, Timmy Hill. 14th, Chad Fincham. And 18th was Justin Haley after that penalty.
Yeah, unbelievable still. I just... it still gets me.
Rant 1 out of the way.
4 now.
Now, we've hit the halfway point in the season. We kind of mentioned that last week, that this was the halfway point. Going over your playoff standings now. We're not going over the regular standings. Now we're going to go
strictly playoff standings.
Every week with the playoff standings. Currently, in the playoffs, Justin Allgaier, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Elliott Sadler, Daniel Hemrick, Cole Custer, Brandon Jones. I got it right this week. Ryan Truex,
right.
Matt Tifft, Austin Cindric, Ryan Reed, and Ross Chastain. I asked you this last week with the initial point standings if anything would move. Do you think anything in this one moves by the time we roll around to the chase?
No, I don't think it happens unless one of these road ringers can get something done at Mid-Ohio and or at was it Road America they go to? Yeah, Road America. I don't see it changing.
Agreed with you there. I mean, I don't think unless Crawley gets that win at New Hampshire, like I'm saying.
Man, if Crawley gets that win at New Hampshire, they gotta have that. Somebody will jump on board to get him into all the races.
If he wins at New Hampshire, I better get a follow on Twitter or something like that. Because I called it.
I thought he had one of the best chances to win at Daytona, and just couldn't quite pull it out.
Well, when you only have 3 laps to do it in, off of an overtime restart, you don't have much time to set up any runs or anything. So, I mean, he really did the best he could with what he had.
Oh, yeah.
And with the lineup being set by owner's points, he was well deep in the field to start the race.
Yeah, oh, man. Speaking of which, qualifying being rained out.
38.
Yeah, 38. Yep. Speaking of which, NBCSN, because we were getting the oil changed on our car. And we're in the waiting room at the dealership and put on NBCSN, and they're like, yeah, no qualifying for Xfinity. And this is why it was like a monsoon that came through that place. That was insane how much rain they got in a little amount of time there.
The funny thing, Ryan, about all this is how quickly NASCAR actually got the track dried this weekend. Every time it rained. I was
quite impressed too. How many air titans do they have at Daytona? I know they got.
I didn't see any come out on the track on Sunday, so I couldn't tell you.
Saturday.
I'm sorry, Saturday. So your next race, Ryan, Kentucky, Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. Truck Series were off. This weekend they're in Kentucky. They're Thursday, 7:30 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern, actually. No, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That's right.
Yes.
On FS1.
Yep.
That's right.
That should be a fun race.
Eastern. I got those backwards on here.
That happens.
So Ryan.
Yo.
Now we get into what was the Coke Zero Sugar 400.
The Ricky Stenhouse Demolition Derby Part 2.
Let me start as my Amazon Alexa goes off as I say that.
Alexa, now, goddamn.
By saying we had a first-time winner, and man, was I actually happy to see Eric Jones come across the finish line first to get his first career win in the Cup Series, locking himself in the chase, and the excitement he had when he won.
Oh, yeah.
And the emotion he had when he said, I wish my dad was here to see this. We all know that last year his dad passed away.
Michigan weekend too, by the way, and he's from Michigan, Byron, Michigan.
Yeah, I mean it was everything coming full circle at the right time.
Yeah, and it was cool to see the Michigan man win. I did a little golf clap for him. I was happy to see him win. He still needs a damn haircut, though. I mean, I'm not one for judging hair.
Oh, hell no. The mullet needs to stay now.
I don't know. But, no, I mean, it's cool. He's a Wolverine fan. I always thought he was a Spartan fan just because where Byron, Michigan is compared to Ann Arbor and East Lansing. He's more closer to East Lansing than he is, Ann Arbor. But, it was cool to see him win the interview, and he's like, hey, how about that, boys and girls, when Rutledge Wood was interviewing him? Mm-hmm. I thought it was pretty cool.
There wasn't a car unscathed in this one, and the fact that Eric Jones wins this race while his car looked beat to hell on both sides. Exactly. It was impressive. I mean, it looked like Bristol.
Oh, yeah. When the big one happened, which we're getting ready to dive into, and I'm like, you guys remember Kurt Busch's car when he won the 500, the first year stage racing? I'm like, that's what the car tonight's going to look like after they win.
You say that. How about Bubba Wallace's car that he finished 14th in?
Man.
He posted a picture of that on Twitter after the race.
Yep.
Wow.
They were talking to the crew chief Drew Blickensterver, and he is like, man, we gave it our all to try to get back up there, but coming to the white flag, got clipped. We still salvaged 14 out of it. I mean, we, had every piece of bear bond that we had on that car. And I tell you what, man, a lot of them cars had that bear bond on it.
Well,
some of them not more than others.
Kicking off what the Wreckfest was, Paul Menard in an awkward airborne situation gets bumped out of the pack and gets to the inside just below the yellow line of the backstretch. And that wind sucks that car straight up in the air. Like, I might be exaggerating when I say it was 4 feet off the ground, but it looked like it was 4 feet off the ground.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I was just getting a piece of pizza, and all of a sudden they're like, and the round goes to 21. And I'm like, I looked at the replay, and I'm like, man, he could have flipped. He could have barreled down that backstretch.
As weird as it is, Ryan, how lucky is he had the hood bouncing up and down like that? Because I think if it wasn't, that thing would have went over. If that hood had fallen off that car during that spin, like it was coming off already, you can't tell me that car doesn't go over.
And it was funny too during the broadcast too. Junior's like, he's like, the hood stays attached. All you gotta do is put some bear bond on that thing, make sure that, the alignment's all good, and he's gonna get right back in this thing. Junior's entertaining him. It was during the Xfinity race. I forgot who he was. Oh, it was Ryan Truex, because they got the piece of tape on the steering wheel to keep it straight, and Truex's wheels go like this, but he's going straight. Junior's like, man, they still got to caution, come back in and get that fixed. I'm like, he's entertaining as hell in the booth. I love it.
So then we move on, Ryan, to the big one. The unnecessary big one. And I know you disagree with my opinion on this. I know you disagree with my opinion. Byron threw a bad block. Let's face it, he did. He threw a bad block.
Well, they were all blocking the entire night. They've been blocking.
He's lucky Keselowski lifted. If Keselowski doesn't lift, that wreck goes from 22 cars to 30.
It's just it's the nature of the beast right now. Everybody's blocking everybody. You got guys back in 19th and 20th that are blocking each other. It's the nature of the beast right now. I know. It's just. And then the interview with Keselowski is just like, oh, I'm just going to run through everybody.
Well, I was going to say, there was one guy who didn't lift at all, and that was the driver at the 17.
Yeah.
Who didn't lift at all night.
No, he didn't.
Oh, man. I was pissed.
Oh, no, you were. I got the message that you were mad.
Yeah, I might have said some expletives in a message to you about
that
17 car.
So was the girlfriend as mad as you, or were you madder than her?
It was almost like we were in a fight. Let's put it this way, because
oh boy,
she sees my reaction when he wrecks, when Chase Elliott wrecks, who's my driver. Everyone who listens to the show knows that. My head is in my lap. And she keeps asking me questions and all that, and I'm just answering in, like, one-word responses like, I don't know, yeah, uh-huh. Like, you would think we were in a fight with the way I was responding.
Oh, yeah.
But no.
Well, she's still learning the sport, too, I mean.
Ryan, I can't express enough the feeling it is when you've been to, in your last 4 races you've been to, your driver wrecks happen.
See, that's where you have the beauty/disadvantages of going to Daytona, because, hey, guess what? You don't know what's going to happen or when it's going to happen. You just hope your driver's not in it.
Well, I can tell you I was probably a bigger Kyle Busch fan that night than I was a Ricky Stenhouse fan.
Oh, boy.
And so we're not done yet.
Yeah.
Taken out in the big one. You're going to hear a common denominator here. The 17 was involved in this one.
Yeah.
22 cars taken out among them: Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, just Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, all 3 Penske cars.
All 3. Ryan, we were both of our picks in the sleeper and the winner were taken out in one wreck.
Yeah. Well, Bubba finished 14th, so.
Yeah, whatever, Ryan.
Of course I am.
He was in it, though. I mean, can we at least say that he was
Yeah,
in it?
yeah, he was in it. But give credit to his crew. Barabon, hammers, it works.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. So we're moving on to the next wreck. This is about 10 laps later now. I'll set the scene for you here since Ryan's a little annoyed about it. Entering turn
Ryan was.
four, we have a battle for the lead between William Byron and Kyle Busch. Kyle on the outside of William Byron as they're about to exit turn 4.
So right by you, pretty much.
And apparently Ricky Stenhouse thought he was good to go up the track. He wasn't. Clips the quarter panel of the 18 to Kyle Busch, who then turns into William Byron, sending both those cars in the wall. I think another 4 cars joined him in that one.
Yeah, I think the other 2 that made contact were they obviously continued on while Byron and Kyle are out of the race, and then Kyle Busch gets out of the car. I don't know if you saw this from where you were at.
We were right in
and
front
goes up to William Byron. I don't know what was said between the 2 because I know that Byron did drive for Kyle in the truck series, and I don't know what was said. NBC didn't ask him. Understandable. Don't ask him what was said between drivers. I think basically, I know Byron probably was upset that he was taken out. I think Kyle went over to him and was like, hey, I had nothing to do with that, or something like that, unless they said something at the track.
So, on MRN, they play the MRN feed through the...
Oh, of course, they do that. Yep.
And I never noticed this before, but MRN actually has a video feed, where when they interview drivers, they have it right there in the video feed. At any rate, Kyle Busch was interviewed, and they asked him, Kyle, what did you say to William? And he goes, well, I just wanted to go and see if he was okay or not, because he goes, I saw how he hit that wall, and it's one of the guys that I care a lot about in this series. And I wanted to make sure he was okay first and foremost, but then I wanted to let him know that was completely not my fault. That was the 17 who clipped me into him. So, class act by Kyle Busch. It
was. Oh, yeah.
Say that, but it was a class act by the man.
And going back into it, you know how they do these live in-car chats, and Burton, I think it was after stage 2, they dial up Ricky Stenhouse's audio. Mm-hmm. You could hear it in his voice. He was distraught with what happened. I don't know exactly if it was. I know it wasn't an act because you could hear it in his voice. He was legitimately upset that he wrecked. The big one, and then the one with Kyle and Byron, and it's just like he's like, guys, I just got loose with the Kyle one. I don't know, like
it's lap
part of me
60. Why are we racing for the win? It's lap 60.
I get.
It's stage 2.
Yep, you don't need to be racing like that.
Win?
You ain't leading all the rest of the laps. I tell you what,
came out on the not by me, I did not partake in that, but down in the lower bowl, you could see them all go up at the same time.
Oh yeah. Did a lot of them have 9, 24, and 18 on their shirts?
It was a lot like when Earnhardt spun Terry at Bristol.
Oh yeah. Or anytime the Gordon car would come by, or now the 18 comes by, or the 11.
Well, we're you know what you know what Stenhouse tried to do?
What's that?
He tried to do a slide job.
Slide job! Trying to take the lead away! Slide job!
You know the audio had to come out on that one.
Oh yeah.
So, where's our Ricky Stenhouse Jr. counter in Rex? 2? We're at 2 now?
2. Yeah, we're at 2.
All right.
2 more.
So next wreck, Kyle Larson. This is coming off of pit road. This is in turn 4 after I think Larson had just got off pit road.
Yeah, he just got off pit road.
And he blows a tire right in front of Ricky, who naturally gets collected in that one because he's just a magnet to cars at Daytona that night. I'm not mad at him for that one. I'm just adding.
No.
I'm
wrong place, wrong time.
Why I'm annoyed with him.
Wrong place, wrong time. Couldn't do anything about it. I mean, that's a racing deal right there. Especially tires are relatively really good at Daytona, which is surprising. And then to see Larson's tire go out the way it did, insane.
Yeah, it was in a weird spot too, because normally when you see that happen, a car will shoot up into the wall, but this happened on, I believe it was the left rear, which is very uncommon at Daytona for a tire to go out on.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ricky, like you said, wrong place, wrong time, hits him in the door, but our Stenhouse counter is at 3. Later on in the race, we have a tire going down on the 17. Naturally doesn't decide to go in and fix it. I don't blame him there. I'm not completely bashing him. Stenhouse has been a part of.
Did you count the Bernard one? That was 5, so he's part of 4.
5, so.
Oh, I didn't. All right, I didn't catch that part. So
4 out of 5 have included the 17 Roush Fenway Ford, fifth thirds bank. He was in 5/3 of the Rex, I think.
It was a pretty cool looking car still. I like that paint job on that car.
So now we get into what was the final big one of the night. This
right before the white flag.
Turned by, right before
Bubba.
the white flag, getting turned by Bubba, which it just looked like Bubba hit him in the wrong spot.
Yep.
Kind of like the same way Stenhouse got into Keselowski a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's the last remaining laps. You want to get up there, do your thing. There's a lot of beating and banging going on, and like you said, it looks like Bubba just hit Clinton in the wrong spot, sending him around, collected a bunch of cars, including the 6 car.
Unfortunately for Trevor Bayne.
Yeah, he was running. He runs good.
But Ryan, there was another car that was in this one. If you can refresh my mind of who was in this one.
Oh, I know who was in this one. He's been involved in 4 of them already. Oh, Ricky Stenhouse.
So our Ricky Stenhouse Jr. crash counter is now at?
I have till 5. Brian Danielson reference for the wrestling fans out there.
All right, so 3 out of 5 of them weren't his fault.
Well, I know that.
I'm just
wrong place, wrong time. Well, no, I'm better for the second one too. I almost want to wear my William Byron shirt out to the Roush signing in August when they're there, and I'm like, you remember this kid?
hey, look at me. You do this again, you're done.
I can't be that guy at Martinsville that got into Denny's face after the race. I can't be that guy. I mean, I know there's.
You can't be that guy. I know there because that was you at Martinsville.
No, it wasn't not me at Martinsville. Come on, that guy had more hair than I had, and he had about 40 or 50 more. Actually, maybe a good 200 pounds more on me.
So now that we are out of the Stenhouse Rex, let's go over a little bit more in this race to a little bit more detail.
Yeah, stages.
Michael McDowell had such a great race. Unfortunately, elected in one of those later wrecks. I mean,
yes,
he took the lead away from Stenhouse.
Yep.
From Truex.
Mm-hmm.
And from Mr. Seven-Time Jimmy Johnson.
Speaking of that guy,
Jimmy Johnson had, without a doubt, one of the best races of the season, and it was. I had it written down the way I wanted to say it here, and now I can't freaking find it.
Oh.
But I mean, it was good to see Jimmy back up front again. And
well, the big wreck, the 22 car wreck. They show a replay of him going right down on the apron, sliding it. He's fishtailing it. And I told Sarah, I'm like, Jimmy got through that. And she's like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. I'm like, yeah, he did. Watch the replay. There he goes right there. Oh, I guess he did get through. I told you he did.
So this is the first time this season that the 48 has shown signs of life. It was literally a dead body on the track in the season as a whole.
Yep. I tell you what.
you know, I think Hendrick's starting to heat up a little bit. We'll find out this weekend with a 1.5 away. Had it not been for the pit road penalty that put him a lap down,
which
I feel like if it was different and he stayed on the lead lap, he wouldn't have got collected in that final incident.
And he would have won the race.
I think
he had the car. He had the car to win. Now, here is my thing about that penalty. I know his pit box was right by you. I don't think you could see the entire pit box.
No, but
from where you're at,
to the point where I could see, he wasn't on the line from my vantage point.
No, he was getting out of pit's box. Guy still had the fuel in the car, and then got past the line. And then he pulled it out. I mean, you're standing there trying to do a quick pit stop there, but if that doesn't happen, I think the 48's in victory lane.
Ryan, they didn't call it for. Excuse me. Ryan, they didn't call it for 3 laps.
Until the Kyle Larson. Yep, until the Kyle Larson and what's that guy's name? Oh, Ricky Stenhouse is
five-time record.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But no, they didn't call it. Then they do the audio for it with Chad Knaus, and he's like, NASCAR's trying to bleep us again. They're coming up with these new rules and everything like that. And Letart's like, he's like, yeah, they've always had these rules, and it's written right here in the rule book of NASCAR.
I didn't see anything wrong with what Johnson did. I guess by definition of the rule, it's wrong. But if he disengaged the fuel can before even the rear tires have left that pit box, I guess he's not pitting outside the box, is he?
No, not at all.
If he's in the act of disengaging the fuel tank, the fuel can, it should not count as a penalty for pitting outside the box.
I think the fuel can got stuck in where the where the gas, where the fuel puts the can into the car. I think it got stuck as he was pulling away, and he couldn't get it out. And then he got it out because you seen him almost got dragged down pit road with the gas can. If it doesn't happen, I'm telling you, the 48's in victory lane, and the
Daytona
playoffs just
when he took the lead.
That's what Junior said. He's like, I've never. Well, besides when he takes the lead, like Rick Allen even say when he took the lead, it was Derek commercial, but they were doing side by side, and you see the fans up and the arms pumping and everything, and it's just like.
It was great to see him back in leading, and it was like old times. And I was rooting for him at the end because I didn't have a dog in the fight at that point.
I tell you what, I put this on Twitter because Junior put something on Twitter earlier today. I forgot exactly what it was. Oh, it was something for the Jimmy Johnson Foundation or it's something with Jimmy. It's something about him. And I'm like, if Jimmy wins a race, watch out playoffs.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I've said it for the last couple of weeks. Hendrick finds it with this new Camaro. Look out.
Yep. So Ryan, Truex goes from the front to the back and then just loses the pack at one point. And just flies by everyone to get back into the lead. I thought Truex was going to win.
There's something about him losing the draft the way he did and how he just magically was passing cars by himself. I don't know.
All right, we'll move on.
No. I'm just saying. It was a great piece of driving, don't get me wrong, but he lost the draft.
Hey, we've seen Junior do it plenty of times.
Well, because Junior's a good restrictor play driver.
Hey, Truex wasn't no slouch back in the Nationwide Series, the Busch Series.
Oh, no, I know he's not, but I don't know. I mean, I looked at it and I'm like, he lost the draft, and all of a sudden he's passing cars, single file, and he's all the way up to. He's in the lead. It's a good piece of driving. Yeah, we'll move on.
All right, so moving on. I think
I got lost with-
Tire finished the race in a higher position than he did.
Yeah, it did. That was pretty fun to watch, wasn't it?
So we had, what was it, the 00, the 34, and the 10 car all get collected in the same wreck. And
Yeah.
at some point, Eric Almirola's tire shoots off the car, bounces backwards, hits something else, and just full throttles forward. Hits the spoiler on the car, like to the point where you can see the spoiler bend as it hits it. Jumps over the car, all the way back around the track, and stops right in front of me.
I don't see that much at a race. I bet you they're looking into that. Why that tire?
To leave me, loose wheel.
Yeah, we can't really consider that loose lugs, could we?
No, loose axle.
Yeah, loose axle. No podcast shout out this week.
No, but I mean, you could take it as that, I guess, if you wanted to.
Yeah, we could have. Speaking of which, how about Ray Black Jr.? Two tire changers on his crew were female this weekend. I think we mentioned that last weekend. Race Hub showed them doing a pit stop earlier today on Race Hub, and man, they know how to work a gun for sure. So.
And Ray Black finished 16th, which is
yeah,
awesome.
she did.
We're okay. Quickly, Casey Kane, great run.
Yes, it was.
Good to see him up there in that 95 car. 20 cars.
I was pulling for Casey. I mean, yeah, the win last year at the Brickyard. Oh yeah.
Can you imagine that party? If Boyer would have won Daytona.
Oh boy. He'd come to the third deck with you guys and be like, what's up, guys?
He'd be in Lake Lloyd before the night was over. The lake on the back.
Oh, I'm sure after that. Yeah, I know Lake Lloyd, Davey Allison, and there's a couple other drivers that almost ended up in Lake Lloyd.
And there's some drivers that have ended up in Lake Lloyd.
There it has. Rutledge Wood been in Lake Lloyd. Kyle Petty.
Yeah. 20 cars did not finish this race due to accident. Half the field.
Yeah, it was a 40-car field, yep.
Post-race comments from Keselowski were he's not going to lift anymore. He's just going to full throttle. Someone comes down in front of him, he's just going to dump him. Kurt Busch called it, which is now the name of our show this week. It was the Stenhouse Demolition Derby. A couple spotters were not happy as well. Joey Meyer was not happy.
One of them.
Chris Lambert for the 11 car was not happy. All good responses. You should read them. Really, at the end of the race, there was only 13 cars in contention. There was 4 or 5 of them that were really off the pace and a non-factor. The thing about this race, as opposed to the 500, was there was no follow the leader in this race.
No.
Really. Well, you might have it for 1 or 2 laps, but even on the first portion of the race, Keselowski had fallen back on the inside lane, and within 2 or 3 laps, he was right back up battling for the lead.
That's something I did notice too about this race, and they said that they used a new package this weekend, and compared to the 500, you remember in the 500 they would get behind somebody, they would lose a little bit of air, and they would go around. Not Saturday, and I love the package they used. Don't change anything to it, because guess what? Both lanes were working. The top lane, the bottom lane, they were both working. Don't change anything to it. Keep this package for Talladega, next year's 500, all next year at restricted plates. I was very impressed with it.
And Ryan, we actually had bump drafting, which is something we haven't had in a while.
Yeah, no, I love the cameras, though. You see the guy coming right up and boom, there he goes. Let's go.
The best I saw, because I've only watched, I'm at 6 to go in stage 2 right now.
I'm
not paying attention to it, but one of the times I have is when McDowell's coming up on Stenhouse.
Yep.
Hits him in the rear, and Stenhouse's head like...
Yep. Holy cow, let's go.
Like, bump drafting is back.
Yes, it is.
There in a while, but it's finally here and back. Ryan, your stage winners. First stage, Ricky Stenhouse. Second stage, Ricky Stenhouse. And your race winner, Eric Jones. Your top 5 and notable finishers are being combined this week. Instead, we're going to do drivers
all.
and finish the race.
There you go. That's ought to be good.
And this is in from first to... I'm going to do first to 18th, even though there were some more cars running in the back.
Okay.
Eric Jones, Martin Truex Jr., AJ Allmendinger, Casey Kane, Chris Buescher coming in at 5th, Ty Dillon coming in at 6th. Happy 7th place day to Matt DiBenedetto.
All right.
Ryan Newman, Austin Dillon, your Daytona 500 winner, finishes 9th. Alex Bowman, highest running Hendrick car, the only running Hendrick car, finishes 10th.
Back-to-back weeks, top 10 finishes for Alex Bowman. Actually, I think 3 in a row.
Ryan, this was my favorite finish of the weekend right here. 11th place, Jeffrey Earnhardt, number 7. 9-line Foundation Chevrolet. You had Brendan Gaughan, DJ Kennington, another great run, finishing 13th. He even had
all three of them guys right there, 11th through 13th. Awesome to see these guys run. I know Gaughan's only doing restrictor plate tracks. It's what he loves doing, but man, guy can wheel a race car, man.
Yes, sir.
For a bigger fella.
He's an inspiration to us everywhere.
Yes, he is.
Bubba Wallace, David Reagan, Ray Black Jr., like we mentioned, finishes 16th. 17th was Ricky Stenhouse Jr., even though he kind of finished himself off with that last wreck.
Yep.
18th place, J.J. Yaley. And, Ryan, there's one guy I want to talk about here. Landon Castle in the number 99 Starcom Fiber Chevrolet.
All right.
He started this race in the garage, and his car wouldn't start off a pit road. He couldn't get it into gear. It wouldn't fire. So the push truck pushes him all the way around on the pace laps. He goes to the garage. He's in there for the first 3 laps. Due to all the wrecking that went on and how off the pace he was, and every time he went by, it sounded like he was down a cylinder.
Oh, wow.
Finished 24th.
Yeah, I mean...
After starting dead last.
That's insane to be in the garage. And he's not on the 5-minute clock because there was no damage done to him during the race. So they can fix that. And for how they did that, how you're saying, unbelievable. And you know what? This is the thing about Landon Castle. There's an owner out there right now. I'm not going to mention his name. This kid deserves a shot in a big-time ride. He was a driver at the time. Now he is an owner. Why hasn't he signed this kid to a deal? Whether it be running the Xfinity series, start another Xfinity ride, get 2 Xfinity programs? No. Oh, what was that for?
Does this guy also happen to drive the 00 in the Xfinity series? Is that the thing you're talking about? That he does. Yeah. All right. I get it. I thought you were trying to do something else. I'm like,
trying to confuse me. But why not? I want to see what the kid can do behind good equipment. I've always thought the kid had talent. Obviously, drivers retiring, maybe he'll get a decent ride. Maybe with contracts expiring, he'll get a decent ride. But unreal, though.
I might rain on your parade here in a second.
I know you are.
You always try.
You always try. You always try to do that entire run.
I need to get out of this segment. Playoff standings. This is, once again, your playoff standings. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., Clint Boyer, Joey Logano, Eric Jones. I got both Jones right this week. Austin Dillon, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Eric Almirola, Ryan Blaney, Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman. Your first car outside of the top 16. Ryan, do you have any guess?
The guy that caused more wrecks than anybody at Daytona.
And how many wrecks did he cause? $5.
Little Caesars.
I see nothing right now changing in that. It depends on if Stenhouse wins a race or not. I think would be the only reason why this changes.
If the Hendrick cars can get their act together, I can see something drastic happening.
Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Your next race, Kentucky, this Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. Speaking of Saturday, Ryan.
Yes.
Did you see the Daniel Cormier, Brock Lesnar? The most scripted UFC promo ever?
WWE stage from start to finish.
I don't know why it just crossed my mind. I don't want to spend too much time dwelling on it, but that was terrible.
The best thing about it was Brock Lesnar when he spoke, talking about how trash the heavyweight division is, and what he said at the end. Cormier, I'm coming for you. Beep and beep.
So Cormier's screwed. He
You
said,
think so?
this is the only thing I'm going to say. I really want to move on away from this after I say it. Cormier, after he gets pushed, goes, push me now, get slept later. DC, you almost got knocked on your ass on a shove.
Mm-hmm.
You're screwed.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. That fight, I've heard rumors for November, maybe December. They want it to be a big mega money fight. I know that for sure. So I guess we will wait and see what the UFC does. I know WWE, for us wrestling fans in here, want Brock Lesnar for SummerSlam, but I guess they may get him now. I doubt it. So, but we'll wait and see on that aspect. So I think it's that time of the show where AJ burst my bubble.
Yep, tire rub. Here we go. News of the week.
Left side. Pull this lever fender out, left side.
Alright, so Toyota unveils the 2019 Supra for the Xfinity Series in Daytona this weekend. I actually got to see the car that you were seeing pictures of all weekend. They actually had it in our gate, which was the Toyota injector. As soon as you go up the first escalator, it's right there in front of you.
Nice.
So,
it looks pretty cool.
I like the car.
It looks pretty cool.
I like it. I think it does look very, very sweet.
A buddy of mine's stepdad had a Supra back in the day, and
didn't look anything quite like that, huh?
No, not at all.
Ryan, this next article confused me slightly. Oh, on that Supra, there's one thing I don't like about it.
What's that?
This is just from initial look at it and the wind tunnel pictures. I feel like this gives an unfair aero advantage. Because if you watch
all right,
where that nose is on the car,
yeah,
where the Toyota emblem is, there's like a little indent, and the air gets pushed off to the side from there. I just feel like that could be a disadvantage for other cars around it.
And now that's only running the Xfinity Series, though. That's all I know right now. There's no...
I got to see it in action. I'm not jumping to conclusions right now. I just, from initial look at it, that's the only thing I don't like about it, is I feel like it could be a disadvantage for other guys and an advantage for Toyota.
You want to hear my take on what I thought the Camaro was going to be?
If they win Daytona in the Xfinity Series, I know something's up.
Yep. You know what I said about the Camaro when I saw the Chase Elliott car getting unloaded off the truck, the Byron, the Johnson? Man, these cars look fast. Oh, minus the one win at Daytona. Oops.
The parachutes are out on those.
Yes, sir. You need to do something with them.
This next news article, Ryan, took me a little bit by surprise, only because he's only ran in the Truck Series this year.
All right.
Jesse Little to make Cup debut at Kentucky.
Who's he driving for?
I failed to put the name of the team he's racing for. Rick Ware Racing, I think.
Oh, for Ray Black ran this past weekend.
Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second.
By the way, we had a nice little setup for the tire rub segment there. Where AJ burst my bubble.
Driving for Premium Motorsports.
Oh, all right, man.
And his crew chief is Todd Parrott this weekend.
Nice. Good to see Todd still in the series.
Yes, sir. And now, for me to... oh, nope, not yet.
Boom.
704 Games reveals their cover for NASCAR Heat 3, the video game. Chase Elliott, Jimmy Johnson, Alex Bowman, and William Byron are featured on the cover. First time
by the way,
a Toyota driver has been on it.
Thank you. I bet you people were tired of, like, why?
So, you and I, Ryan, are pretty big gamers ourselves.
Yep.
This is the first NASCAR game in a while I'm looking forward to. I saw pictures of graphics today and all that, like screenshots from the game.
Excuse me.
I think they did a good job on this one. I wasn't a fan of the first two. This one, I like.
I didn't mind the first two.
They're just getting right with it. They're trying to get it all right. But
That's why they put a Toyota drivers on it first.
This game, and damn it if I'm wrong here, it looks polished.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're a gamer, you listen to the show, make sure you pre-order that. It's available on Xbox, PS4, and I think PC.
PC, yeah. And by the way, back-to-back covers for William Byron.
Yeah, no kidding.
Woohoo! Yeah, suck it, Danica lovers.
Well, he's the closest thing we have now to Danica.
Nah, wrong. What was that guy's name we were mentioning earlier?
Mr. Five Times.
That's right. There you go.
And now, Ryan, I get to burst your bubble.
All right.
All Stewart-Haas Racing drivers expected to return in 2019.
Not surprised.
Which means Kurt Busch is staying in the 41, Kevin Harvick staying in the 4, Eric Almirola being in the 10, and Clint Bowyer in the 14. Does this mean no Cole Custer for Stewart-Haas Racing in the Cup Series? Does somebody else pick him up?
I could see somebody picking him up. I could see maybe Hendrick picking him up. And Roush, maybe down the road. Childress, I don't think so. Maybe even Newman.
Hendrick's going to take over that.
Yeah, Hendrick's going to take over.
Whether it be the 8 or another car.
Does he go to Gibbs or does Furniture Row get the other car back next year? Because Cole's ready.
Maybe.
Cole's been ready.
I want to see him like say when Roush has their Kenseth and Bain split that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Give Custer one of those races. See what he could do with a next level equipment, not lower Cup Series equipment, but that middle level equipment, and see how he does with that.
So like a JTG
Daugherty Racing, maybe. Well, that does it for news. I got some social media to go over, Ryan, so let's get into some social media.
All right.
All right, we are up to 606 downloads on iTunes, Podbean, and Stitcher. I told you we'd hit that 600 threshold last week. 224 followers on Twitter, 58 likes on Facebook, and 19 subscribers on YouTube. New follower shout-outs, and as always, if I pronounce your name wrong, I am sorry. It's not on purpose.
Remember, you can always tweet him.
Yeah. At GreyGooseF150 if you need to complain to me about how I pronounce your name and correct me on it. We have Lil Willie at Will 548035599. He's a mechanic for Josh Williams and Alex LeBay in the Xfinity Series.
Oh, very cool.
We have Eagle Eyed and Blue at Eagle Eyed and Blue. We have RWM4 Bama, and the Twitter account for that is at OneEyesKMC. We have Scooch at Scooch111516 and Paul Swinson at Paul_Swinson. Your podcast shoutouts, as always, include the Lap Traffic Podcast, the PTM Racing Podcast, the My Opinion and Therefore Fact Podcast, All Turns No Breaks, the Bump and Run Podcast, Incredicast, NASCAR Opinion, Final Lap Weekly, Right Sides Only Radio, and the rebranded 3 Wide Podcast that is changed over from the EG3 Show.
Oh, all right, nice.
Places you could find us: iTunes, Podbean, YouTube, and Stitcher. Make sure you subscribe, follow, turn on the notification bells. This way you know every time we upload new content. That is the Loose Lugs Podcast in your search bar. On Twitter, we are at Lugs Podcast and using the hashtag LugsPod. On Facebook, we are the Loose Lugs Podcast. Our personals, myself, as I said, GreyGooseF150 on Twitter. And Ryan, what is yours?
RNCola88. That's RENKOLA and the number 88.
The double R Ncola 88.
That's right.
Ryan, that does it for social media. I have a rant segment for you. Do you have a rant left?
I do, but do you have a rant?
No, I'm pretty sure I let it all out.
No rant this week. Man, I thought you were gonna have one.
I had two because I went to yours, so I already had two.
Yeah, with the whole yellow line,
In the Stenhouse.
Yep. Do I have a rant? No, I don't have a rant per se. It's watching Friday, Saturday, seeing Steve Letarte up on that pit box. Especially Friday night, seeing Junior on that pit box with him. If he would have stayed one more year, Junior would have won a title.
I've been saying that for years.
Can you not see how much Letarte missed being up on that box? He's having fun. He's having all these guests up there, especially...
People say that Junior was an overrated driver and he was terrible at the end of his career. I want you to know of 2 crew chiefs he has had in that 88 car, because people said when he went to Hendrick he should have won. He had Lance McGrew, who, in my personal opinion, didn't know his ass from his elbow.
Or his nose from his cheek.
And Greg Ives, who, as a diehard Dale Jr. fan, I was very critical of in the 2 years.
Oh, yes, we were.
I'm sorry, Letarte is the best thing he's had since Tony Uri Sr.
Oh, hands down.
And Tony Uri Jr., I guess I liked him because he was family, but he couldn't hold a candlestick to Tony Uri Sr.
No, not at all.
So, give me Letarte for the 2 years that Junior had Ives. He wins a championship one of those 2 years.
Yes, and he wins another Daytona 500 too. But you can tell he misses doing it. Obviously, I think family, persuade him to step away from it. He's doing fine in the booth. I don't really have a rant per se. My rant was about the whole yellow line. My dad and I have said it for years.
Give Letarte to that guy.
No. I can't reach it. It's right there.
Not that I don't like Alan Gustafson. Please don't get that mis.
Okay.
Right
all right.
there.
All right. You take Letarte and Chase. I'll take Gustafson for Byron.
Deal.
Hands down.
Deal.
Man, when Alan Gustafson and Mark Martin were together, Mark Martin should have won a championship too, right there. But God forbid, I'm a Hendricks guy. Why did you tear that? Why? Oh man, don't get me going on that.
Blickensderfer go to Mark Martin. Wasn't he one of his crew chiefs?
No, it was McGrew. I know that. And
that's
I don't.
That's right.
And then when Junior came over there, when Martin went to drive for Michael Waltrip Racing in Toyota, which sucked, but I was still a Martin fan. But why change something that is so damn good?
I'm sure he's a great person, but I was way younger then. I hated Lance McGrew when I was
I bet. You're not the only one.
Like every time I saw his face on TV, I got annoyed. And I'm only I was either a freshman in high school or I was at the tail end of middle school when Lance.
You were a young one.
So I get a pass on that one.
Oh yeah. So yeah, like I said, just my whole issue still comes down to the yellow line and just restrictor plate tricks. If you're gonna have it at Daytona and Talladega, have it everywhere then.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Or get rid of it in general.
You can't get rid of it in general. I agree with the reason why they put that rule into effect, because a lot of guys were diving underneath it, and when you get down into turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a car needs to come back up that track, you are going to tear up a ton of race cars everywhere.
Tony Stewart did it in the what was the series? No, Xfinity.
Busch series.
No, yeah, it was Daytona. He did it at when he was in the 33. Went right down between 1, 2, came up.
Flipped, right?
No, he won the race when he did that.
No. I know who you're talking about. It wasn't.
It was Stewart.
It was. Who was it that came up in front of everybody going into one?
It was Tony Stewart did, and he won the race. Here, I'll try to find it on YouTube. If I find it on YouTube, I'm tagging you on Facebook.
Because I'm trying to remember the driver's name, and whoever's in the chat right now, still, if you can help me out here, it wasn't Morgan Shepherd, was it? Who came right up on into everybody, and it was like 2008. The year was 2008 at Talladega.
Let's see.
You're gonna make me look this up now too.
No, here it is right here. It was the Hershey's Take 5 300. Stewart passes it in the grass of the Busch series.
Oh, well, I'm referring to...
I know you can't really see that.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that's the one I was referring to.
No, I'm referring to the one that caused one of the bigger wrecks we've seen. That took out like 30 cars in the Nationwide series.
Oh, I don't remember that, so...
I forgot who came up back into traffic and
took out half the field?
And took out more than half the field.
Oh! I got a rant. It just popped right here in the good old noggin. See what happens when I use my brain a little bit? So, as you know, I got a few people on my Facebook that do follow NASCAR, and one of them is my good buddy Ryan. He's a Matt fan. He's a Kyle fan, which I let that pass because him and I always have good discussions. I think it was after the Austin Cindric wreck on Friday night. He posted, he's like, I was surprised there weren't as many cars as there were. Go ahead, I seen you wanted something to say, so, and then I'll get back into it.
Kevin LePage. It was Kevin LePage.
Okay, all right, thank you, Patrick.
That's what I was thinking of.
Good, very good, Patrick. So, he puts on his Facebook page, I'm glad to see everybody walked away, multi-car wreck. Somebody put on there, this is why I like the tandem racing.
Was it Jeff who said that?
No, it was not Jeff that said that. Jeff is a fan of the restrictor plate racing, if I'm not mistaken. Jeff, if you like the tandem racing, I'm sorry. But somebody
really wanted to say there.
yeah. But the tandem racing was one of the worst things I've ever seen in the history of NASCAR. I think there's been some brutal ones, but this is definitely top 5, maybe top 3. In my opinion, it's the worst one ever. Let's pick somebody to run with. Oh, great, we're overheating. We got to switch. Let the other guy go ahead of us. No. Granted, it did produce a good finish at Talladega with the Hendrick boys, Johnson, and everything like that. Yep, good finish. But the racing itself was not entertaining. The restrictor plate, the package they had this weekend was absolutely phenomenal. I enjoyed it. The Xfinity race was great Friday night. To the Cup race on Saturday. I'm ready to go back to Talladega. I'm ready to see this package out there again. And I put the picture. There's a picture. It's a Family Guy reference. Stewie. And I can't explain it because it's a graphic thing, what he does. That's how I thought. That's why I think tandem racing. I did not like it. I wasn't excited for the Daytona 5. Yeah, it was Daytona 500. I still get excited for it. But knowing it was tandem racing, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I'm glad it's gone. It needs to stay away.
Damn.
Yeah, I knew I had one in. I couldn't remember.
Ran about something, didn't you?
There's a couple of things I've ranted about tonight, but no, that was definitely like I just remembered it too. I'm like, holy cow! Somebody talked about tandem. But I know there's people that loved it, and I know there's people that hated it, like myself.
Tandem, like off show, like before we even started the show. That's all I used to hear about.
Yep.
I hate tandem racing. It was the worst thing that ever happened.
Yep. Now, what did you like it? Did you not like it?
No, I'm regular pack racing.
Thank you.
I'm not as vocal about it as you are, but I'm a fan of the regular stuff. Ryan.
Yep.
We've been live now for an hour and a half. What do you say we get into some white flag and wrap this thing up?
All right, let's do it.
Tight, keep working the mirrors. In line with you, coming to the white. Only 2.
White flag, this is the point in the show where we do our predictions for the upcoming race weekend in Kentucky. We have all 3 series in here. We're going to pick Truck, Xfinity Cup, and a sleeper for Cup Series. Starting off with Truck, Ryan, I'm going to go first this week because I don't want you to steal it.
All right, go ahead.
I'm going with the 24 of Justin Haley, and I say this for one reason.
I knew you were going to do that, you son of a biscuit.
Highest finishing truck regular last year at Kentucky.
All right. Now, there's no Cup drivers in there, is there?
I don't know because I printed out all the entry lists today at 5 o'clock and Truck Series was still not up.
Truck Series was still not up. All right, I'm going to go outside of the box. No, not really outside of the box. This guy...
Stuart Friesen.
Good answer. Yep. That's what I'm going with.
Totally
it was between him and Dalton Sargent. One of those guys is due to come out and break out of it.
That's it, I'm done. Xfinity Ryan. I'm doing the same theory here. I'm going with the 7 of Justin Allgaier, being that he was the highest finishing Xfinity regular last year in this race.
Yeah, I am going to go with the 20 of Christopher Bell.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
In on Cup, and I know I'm stealing your pick here.
Let's hear it.
The man has won every other year at this track for the last 4 years.
All right.
5 years. Brad Keselowski.
You did not take my pick.
I'm taking Brad Keselowski. My sleeper is going to be the 42 of Kyle Larson.
All right. My pick is Martin Truex Jr. He loves this track. Ever since it's been repaved, he dominated the race last year. He dominates again. 78 Bass Pro Shops. Toyota goes back to victory. At least I hope he's in the Bass Pro Shops car because that's the car I'm calling out this weekend. And for my dark horse,
The auto owner's insurance car.
Oh, all right, thank you. Auto owners, I'm going to go with Chase Elliott as the dark horse.
Ooh, bad move. He hasn't finished better than, I think, 11th at this track.
Okay. He's due to do...
Good sleeper. You can't
see?
deny
Sleeper.
that.
Sleeper.
Get the hell out of here.
Oh my God, no, I did this.
Well, Ryan, what do you expect for Kentucky? Beating banging, normal Saturday night racing, or a spread out, regular mile-and-a-half race?
It's still a one-lane track ever since they repaved it. I have been to this race. I went the year right before the first repave. Incredible, awesome, the bumps, everything like that. No, let's go through. They almost trying to make it like a Darlington where turn 1, 2, nice bang, still 3, 4 bank, but 3 is a wider turn, and I enjoyed it. Good, fun track. But single lane track is what I'm expecting.
I agree with you there. I think it's just going to be your typical mile-and-a-half race. I'm hoping this comes down to a fuel gamble at the end because I think that's the only thing that could really help this race.
Save it.
If I remember correctly, this race was pretty fun to watch last year, though.
Until the end.
Yeah.
Mark Truex won by like 14 or 15 seconds, I thought.
And if you don't remember, Ryan, this was our first episode.
That it was.
Calling Kentucky.
Yes, it was. How we... Go figure. I'm tying the knot Friday, party Saturday, and I'm going to miss it. Well, I'm going to go over it on Monday because we're off Monday, so.
Well.
So I just let the cat out of the bag. Yeah, I was going to do. I'm going to do it right now. We got our picks in for the weekend. Yeah, tying the knot. I said something in the middle or the beginning of the show, but yeah, we're tying the knot Friday. And never thought all my years that I would be getting married. Never thought I would. But yeah, fellas, tying the knot, get married. Love of my life. I love her. She's an amazing woman. She's done so much for me. My family loves her. Her family is awesome. I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together. Little, not nervous, but it's a happy nervous, guys. But it's going to be amazing. Got Tony, who's been in the group. AJ's new partner in crime, so to speak, on their football podcast. Is my best man. Known him since high school. But yeah, we're definitely looking forward to having a fun weekend. A lot of partying, watching the race Monday because we're off Monday.
And we will. Congratulations to you first and foremost.
I was going to say. Yeah. Well, thank you, AJ. I appreciate it, buddy.
And next week we'll be back on Tuesday. We are supposed to start back on Monday, doing our Monday night recordings again, because now that T-Ball's over for you.
Yeah, T-Ball is over for me. Thank you for I didn't even tell the listeners.
I actually got a text message today from a buddy of mine asking me if I could pick him up from the airport on Monday night.
Oh, nice.
And when I asked what time it was, I was told 10 o'clock at night.
Ooh. You got to get to the airport a little early, too, don't you?
Yeah, so...
And how far is the airport from you?
My house.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes away, maybe.
Oh, that's not too bad.
But we'll start back on Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Ryan, you're getting married this weekend?
Exciting weekend, exciting times, man.
You know, I'm so happy for you guys, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I wish you all
Got
the best of luck with it.
Got a house together. We're thinking about coming down to Daytona next year. It is.
In February, not July.
It is in the works. It is in the works. We are definitely talking about it. I will, talk to you more, obviously, through the Xbox, everything like that. But yeah, we're definitely thinking about coming down there. Yeah, it's gonna be weird though, because obviously I don't wear no jewelry. The only thing I've had is my ears pierced. Never, it's gonna be weird wearing a ring on my finger. It's gonna feel awkward for me at first. That's why I told her, I'm like, it's gonna feel so awkward for me. Like, I've been walking around the house lately with it on. It's like, oh man, this feels awkward. So,
well, Ryan,
just hope I don't lose it at the race.
We hit that point in the show.
Woo!
We're gonna sign off to our listeners. So, Ryan, hit everybody with it.
Guys, I hope we'll see everybody at the track. Have a wonderful weekend. Rest of the week, guys. Enjoy.
Everybody have a good Kentucky weekend. We're going to do some Under the Lights racing 2 weeks in a row. Enjoy it.